used to have a saying when I was a young boy. She said, boy, there's a little truth even in the lie. Now, Carson Wentz understands his position in this organization, Skip. Yep. They moved heaven and earth to move up to select him. So he knows he's special. But on the flip side, any player that's worth anything that's been injured knows that their teammates and the coaches, they treat you different. Skip, you can't help me if you not on game day, you getting treatment or you in street clothes. So Carson Wentz saw something happen. I think you believe, Skip, last year he was going to be the MVP. The year they won the Super Bowl, so I guess it was the year before. He was going to be the MVP. He gets hurt. His backup comes in, and as you mentioned, he played the two best back-to-back games, a championship game and a Super Bowl that we had ever seen.
Yep.
So the toast of the town, the talk of the locker room is him.
Yep.
They forgot about what you did to help get them there. You didn't get them over the finish line. So now, again, we have the same situation. He hears what's going on. He hears the media talking. Maybe they should trade Wentz and re-sign Foles.
Yep.
He hears they're building shrines. I told you, Skip, they're building shrines in the locker room for Nick Foles. He hears that. Now, I want to also share something with the fans out there, Skip. A professional athlete, a really good one, being selfish. That's not new. That's not earth-shattering news. There's a little selfishness in all of them. And we all have a little ego. I got a little ego. You know what it tell me, why, Jenny? Because during this show, it says Skip and Shannon Undisputed.
Sure.
I was handpicked by the guy that's named first. So I got a little ego. Yeah. I was the first guy.
You know about this?
I was the first guy that didn't have a journalism background, that didn't specifically worked in the media to sit across from a man and debate every single day. Yeah, I got an ego.
That's a fact.
Yeah, I feel special because the man handpicked me. Carson Wentz feels special. They handpicked him. They traded up to get him. And now somebody is coming in there. How did Tom Brady get his job, Skip? Somebody got hurt. He performed well. And ta-da, Dak Prescott. How did he get his job? Somebody got hurt. He performed well. Ta-da! Carson Wentz is well aware of this. He understands how this works. Am I going to say everything? Am I surprised that some of his teammates came out? Nope, absolutely not. But it's hard for me to believe that everything in this story is absolutely false. And it's hard. It's going to be hard for Carson Wentz to get out from under this because there are some in that locker room, given the success that they've had with Nick Foles. Yeah, I can ride with Nick because Nick will make things happen. You know, but to Skip, this dynamic that, all Foles, Wentz just focus on Zach Ertz. Wentz throws the ball an average of 9.6 targets a game. Foles is 9.3. So it's not as lopsided as you think. But I expected Fletcher Cox, who's the captain of this team. I expected Lane Johnson, who's one of the outspoken leaders of this team.
They stepped right up.
They stepped right up in support of their guy.
They did.
But this came from somebody saying this, Skip. All the egotistical, all that other stuff, I don't know about all that. But it's hard for me to believe that this is a completely 100% fabrication in this instance.
I am with you. And I do not know this writer, and I hope I pronounce his name correctly, but I appreciated how he put this story together because it had the ring of truth to me. Even though he didn't quote anybody on the record, it sounded like he did his homework and his legwork. His name is Joseph Santo Laquito. I hope I got that right, but he's longtime Philadelphia, deep roots. I think he's respected.
Right.
Don't know him, but I think that's the drift I get. So the drift of this story seems right to me, but it has a lot of upbeat in it too, because near the end he's saying to a person, the sources who spoke for the story stressed they want Carson Wentz to succeed. And I think that's why all those teammates stepped right up and said that. Only 26 years of age. He's just played one full NFL season. Many would agree the quarterback wants to be a superstar and that sometimes he acts like he's already one and he hasn't yet earned it. But it says the writer, understandable. And it is. And I told you going into this past football season, there's never been anything like this in the history of the National Football League. And again, here's the difference in your Bledsoe Brady. Did Bill Belichick draft Drew Bledsoe?
No.
He inherited it.
He had no
okay.
loyalty. Yeah,
okay. So he didn't have a stake in it.
Right.
Well, there's big stake in this kid because boy, they
moved heaven and earth.
Heaven and earth. Yeah, they threw in the sun and the moon, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so they trade up to get him, and they bet their ranch on it.
Mortgaged everything.
And all of a sudden, the backup goes in and does that and wins the Super Bowl MVP. This has never happened before. So the kid comes back and
not just that. Who did they beat? Who did he outgun? They beat a dynasty. They beat Coach Belichick and Bill and Tom Brady.
Yep. So there's euphoria in Philadelphia, and it lasts through the offseason, and all of a sudden, Carson Wentz is rushing back off it was a horrendous injury. It was career-threatening because he tore 2.
ACL and PCL.
Okay? And he pushed back, and he never looked quite right to me, like he trusted it completely this year, so that's not fair. And looking over his shoulder is that guy. And then right on cue, I don't know what happened. Did he have a serious back injury or not? I don't know. It just looked like finally, Doug Peterson said, let's just throw Nick in there. We got an opening here. Let's see what happens. And he went right back to being Nick Foles.
Right.
They win the last 3 of the regular season, and then they pretty much steal the playoff game, but he played pretty well and beat the Bears, the #1 scoring defense in football in Chicago. And he was on the move at New Orleans until the ball goes through Alshon's hands. So you can't pin the whole. He didn't play great in that game because there's a long stretch where he didn't play very well.
Right.
But again, that locker room's still thinking, wait a second.
Yeah.
Right.
That guy, it just looks different when Nick Foles is operating that offense, which is what this story is about. And again, I don't know anything about Carson Wentz. I only know the media portrayal, but there's an early line in here that his aw shucks, overgrown Opie from Mayberry routine plays well with the local and national media, but that underneath it all, he can be selfish, to your point, uncompromising, egotistical. Well, yeah, like all the rest of them can be.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, he's threatened because he's having to fight for his job in a position that he shouldn't have to be. He should be the unquestioned starter, and now he's not unquestioned. So is he acting a little out of character right now? I'm sure he is. But my problem with him is this whole issue that I've told you before about Wentz also struggled reading defenses this season, according to sources. His eyes were all over the place. This is my issue with him from the start. There's no doubting the arm strength. There's no doubting the athletic ability, because when he was right, when he was healthy, when he escapes, he can run a little bit.
Yes.
And he's a load to bring down. He's Roethlisberger-esque and more mobile than Roethlisberger.
Yes.
But again, the feel, the command of reading it, seeing it with poise and that sort of Brady-esque rhythm and flow, I haven't seen that yet from this kid, even though he had a sensational year last year building up to, I need to see more of that, and I'm sure they're wanting to see more of that. And now there's big questions about, can he stay healthy?
Yes.
Sure.
I don't know.
I think that's the more important question for them, Skip, is his health. Because, look, I think he's shown in his sophomore season that he can be a very, very good quarterback, and he can read defenses. I mean, he was, 33-7. So that lets you know he can process information. The question that they're going to have moving forward, but here's a guy, as you mentioned, going into his senior season in the NFL, is that he's only been healthy his freshman season.
Yeah.
And that doesn't bode well in considering he was hurt in college.
Yeah.
So what the history says is that at some point in time, he's going to get nicked again.
Yeah.
They're going to have to move Nick Foles. They're going to have to get him up out of here.
I told you this before, and I always speak from a Cowboy fan perspective. I fear Foles more than I fear Wentz, in part because my team beat Carson Wentz twice this year. Did he have his moments in those games? He did. But I always told you he felt codependent on 86. I told you going into the first game, you just have to just double 86 because his security blanket more than Foles. And I know the numbers tell you a little different story. But again, the big point of this story is that he favored 86, Zach Ertz, that he's just going to look for him and that he's going to check out a run plays so he can check it down to 86. Because it's an easy throw. He's a big, rangy, athletic tight end who can catch it.
Right.
So again, that got a little out of hand, and it started to alienate the offensive line because they feel like they're pretty good and that they can run block. And when you're checking out of a lot of run plays, it starts to create havoc in the locker room because they're just not happy with it.
Yeah, Skip, it's tough because to see what this man took your team and accomplished what you were supposed to do. And everybody, they love him. Skip, contrary to what you said, yeah, they love him. But he ain't did what Nick Foles did for him yet. They got a ring on their finger because of Nick Foles. They know that. I don't believe any other quarterback could have done as good as they played offensively, as good as they played defensively. I believe Nick Foles was the only backup quarterback that could have done what he did.
I agree.
In that situation. And so now
I'm not sure many starting quarterbacks could do that, right?
Yeah. And given the circumstances. But Carson Wentz understands it. I don't know if he understood it going in. But when you're hurt, you're just a guy.
Okay.
I don't care how great you were.
So if you're in that brain trust in Philadelphia, and in your heart of hearts, you believe in Carson Wentz,
you got to move Foles.
You got to go. You got to move. You got to cut bait with Nick Foles because it's not fair to this kid. You know what? If you do move Foles, just get him out of there, clear the decks, then it's possible he'll mature into that guy.
It'll clear his mind.
Yeah.
You're right.
Because he's not looking over his shoulder. He's not pressing and forcing everything and stressing over everything because he knows the other guy's really good.
Right.
Yeah. You brought up his age, and I just was being reminded that he's only 26. I mean, this is still just the beginning for the guy. If he gets healthy and
if he's right,
has
a
fresh start. But hearing people say those things about you, that doesn't sit well.
No.
I mean, that article isn't going to feel good for him.
Hey.
Well, maybe it'll do good.
Wake
for
up
him.
call?
Yeah.
We'll see. All right. Andy Reid, he was also complaining about the refs. After the Chiefs' loss on Sunday, we'll discuss what he had to say next.